Boy, for 4 cases, I don't see a lot of people. By default.
Yeah, but why is he, out of all the places to choose, he's hiding?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That was perfect timing.
And
How'd you do that?
bell tower tolls.
All right. So we'll go with the main clock there. Call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Roll call of board members. Why don't we start at the end down there?
Scott Williams, present.
Lee Hillsgrove, present.
Bill O'Neill, present.
Christine O'Brien, present.
Drew Carter, present.
Nicholas Bonapane, present.
And of course, Jessica is here. We don't need to appoint any alternates, do we?
I don't think with the slim pickings down this end.
Yeah.
No, well, Doug is not here,
Yeah.
Doug Brown, so you could appoint Christine.
Christine is an alternate.
She is.
All right, well, let's appoint Christine as an alternate.
Okay.
All right. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, so under other business, for correspondence for the board's information. So I provided you with an update on the Green Oak Realty Developments gravel pit, just an update on that. And under one old business, C is just a discussion regarding Dana Huff, the former town engineer's offer to do some construction observations. So I just wanted to update you on that. There's no paperwork on it. And D is a letter I received from Paul Zesgo, who's the agent for the LaCroix. They're requesting an extension for their subdivision.
Okay.
And the first case on the agenda, which is case P 2325.
Yep.
Has been continued to February meeting, which is February
17.
20th. And that's it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
I second it. Okay, a motion by Scott, seconded by Lee. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. All right. So case one is continued. So number two, completeness review of application for case P 24-01, Bowler Engineering agent for Aubuchon Realty Company Incorporated. Proposal to demolish existing building, construct a hard packed gravel area for greenhouse storage and additional parking on lot one.
Jumping the gun.
Mr. Chair,
He was trying to steal your thunder.
Yes,
so on this case, I do want to let you know that I've added, it's a single piece of paper. It should have been in front of you.
Yep.
So that's an email from an abutter.
Yep.
So that's it.
has
That's
the
in
applicant
addition.
seen that as well?
They have not actually, and I will.
I have read it. They can have my
Um,
copy.
Okay,
Would you like?
that kind of came in last minute.
All right, so step number one is for completeness review. And Jessica, I believe you had noted that all of the required items had been submitted.
Yes, so at design review, there is no formal completeness. Like you guys usually
Sorry.
do with the final application, so it's.
This
So it's-
is listed as a completeness review.
Yeah,
No, it should have been under a whole different heading.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is just a design review.
correct. Yep, completeness happens at final application.
I
Sorry for the
thought we were
confusion.
jumping the gun a little bit on that, but okay.
Yes.
Mr.
So
Chairman.
let's back up and
Yes.
start all over.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in my approval of the agenda, I will say this is a design review for item number 2, case P 24-01, to take care of the mispublication of the status.
Can you just add 03 to that as well? Because that's also design review.
Okay, so 2403
Correct.
considered done.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
And Lee, are you okay with the second change on that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, so I apologize.
No
So
stress.
if you'd be so kind as to introduce yourself and walk us through the game plan here.
Absolutely. For the record, Malcolm Bates with Fuller Engineering, I represent the applicant, Option Hardware, I think it's written in Option Code, it's the thing.
Oh, could you push the power button on that for me?
Nope.
Thanks.
So now you got to start all over again. Sorry.
Hope you remember it.
For the record, Malcolm Bates with Fuller Engineering, representing W.E. Abashan, basically Abashan Hardware. I'm sure everyone's aware of the Abashan store. I think it's been there since 91. It's at 7 Main Street here, right off the traffic circle on the existing 1,000 square
Yeah,
foot building.
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you and apologize for, these microphones are not very good.
Take it with you.
So you got to take it with you.
Oh, sure, yeah, no problem. Existing hardware store, parking, I think they have a greenhouse out front. You sometimes see some storage out front. Currently serviced by an existing septic system and a water supply from the street. To date, what we've done to kind of set them up is done our due diligence. So we've done a boundary survey, topographic survey, have the wetland scientists go out to the site. So there's an existing wetland boundary along the south side of the site here. There's also a somewhat separate, but almost the same shoreland boundary, which is jurisdictional under NHCS shoreland regulation. Abashan has purchased this small piece right next door, which currently has an existing house on it. I think they own it at this stage and trying to plan what they want to use the property for. So what they're hoping to do is provide some additional, I guess, overflow parking, some potential storage area for the various goods they have, like wood pellets, things like that you see stored out in front of the store. They also have a greenhouse here. They'd like to move that and potentially a second greenhouse over here. The new area and use this area, fill it back in with parking. Along with just those improvements, we did recommend some other improvements while they're doing work on site. So if you've ever been to the site at night, there's no lighting at all on the site, just basically some canopy lights under.
There used to be.
Oh, there used to be, yeah.
They all got knocked over.
Oh, there is, unfortunately, yeah. So we're proposing not only lighting for the new area, but a new light for the old parking area as well. All dark sky compliant, fully cut off, directed away from the street. There's an existing ADA space at the front. It's not ADA compliant by today's standards. We propose to provide 2 new spaces here with new slopes, all meeting ADA standards. And then restripe the parking area. So again, there's an existing greenhouse here, provide more parking close to the entrance of the building. Restripe some of the parking they have over here and provide the additional parking down here. Also taking a look at some of their loading operations. They have a loading door back here. So I've never seen a truck load there as it exists. I imagine it's pretty hard. So we took a look at the truck simulation back in and get out. So just to help their operations out there. The area is proposed to be gravel at this time. One thing they mentioned to me was as they go along, if they find the gravel's too soft, as they're driving like the pallets through, they might want to pave it. So when we did our drainage analysis, we did assume it was pavement just for the worst case scenario. We think it'll be gravel, but if in the future they ever did want to pave it, we wanted to leave them that opportunity. Along with just the site layout and design, we did design a stormwater basin collection system. So that consists of a grass layout to collect the water coming down from the new gravel area and a settling infiltration basement at the bottom of the slope size to along with just this application, we did file with the Shoreland for their requirements. That might be a little bit of a limited area here relative to the overall parcel. They have very strict limits as far as percent impervious on a lot that's in the shoreland. So we basically made sure we're within those limits when we said it. So the area is up
Even
here.
calculating in using pavement, should they go that road later?
Correct, exactly, yeah. So this will all, the hub will come down, all the lawn area here and obviously all vegetated down to the whole strip here is kind of what they were able to fit under the shoreline requirements.
All right. So, I had a couple of questions. So you are over the, aquifer protection area
Correct.
and I guess it's always been there, but I get a little concerned about, fertilizers and chemicals and, you know, are there going to be any specific, approaches to protecting the aquifer from any leaching of chemicals and
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, the stormwater system. On top of that, just I saw Jessica had a similar note in her report. So I looked into it a little bit prior to the hearing, and NHDS Shoreland actually has some requirements relative to that too, like no fertilizing within 50 feet of the shoreland, within 50 to 250, a certain percentage of phosphorus and nitrogen and things like that. So we'd be happy to, I think, to as part of the final design, come in with a better, I guess, document thing what they will and won't do in the shoreland and aquifer.
Right. My concern is not just the shoreline protection, but also the aquifer and the any leaching, you know, you'd see pallets of stuff stacked out there.
Yep.
Just,
One thing I've mentioned them is like rock salt, something like that might not necessarily be hazardous, but being careful how they
Yeah.
store that.
yeah. And is the greenhouse, is the intention that that's also going to kind of be a retail as well? So that's the parking down there would be people going down to shop at that greenhouse?
Correct, yeah, they want to run all electrical on to the greenhouse, just in case they want to put a register out there during the summer, so if one wants to come buy a plant and load it into their car, they can do.
Yeah, I noticed that the drawings that we had in our package, I don't think specifically identified the extent of the leach bed in the septic system. But it looked to me as if there might have been some plans to run electrical right through that. And
Yep.
so I think that obviously identifying that location on the plans is going to be very important.
And the septic plan is available here in town hall, I'm sure.
It is, yeah, we do have it, it might not be on up here,
I know right where it is.
yeah, you can see the vents coming up, so we'll make sure to stay with there.
And then the other item that caught my eye was there was no clear delineation of where the existing edge of pavement and or gravel is for the site now,
Okay.
In any of the drawings.
Yep, yeah, we have that info from the survey, so we can maybe do an underlay plate, just so it's obvious, here's where it exists and here's the expansion.
Well, I think that would be part of your existing conditions plan.
It is, yeah.
The last item that I had on my notes was the water, and this is something I think that was brought up by somebody who had done one of the reviews. I can't remember who. But I did a little research trying to figure out, you know, how much water does a greenhouse need, and from the square footage, they calculated out about 60 gallons a day during the hottest periods. So I think that definitely getting together with the water department, because you are on town water there, and determining whether or not the main will even be sufficient to feed both the building as well as the greenhouse, the new proposed greenhouse.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Another option would be a dug well down back. It's all sand there. You'd have a beautiful dug well and
Yep,
just pump water.
yep, that certainly solves a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Plus
Good,
it's cheaper.
good thought, Scott. The traffic I know that it was stated in the summary that there'd be no anticipated change to traffic loads. I've been to the Aubuchon, 700 or 800 times. It can be difficult getting out of there, especially if you want to turn left.
Well, I think since they have so much stuff stacked around there, what makes it difficult, and this should alleviate some of that, because I've experienced the same thing. I feel like you bump on everything to try to get out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one thing we noticed when laying out the site plan, I know it's an old site plan from 91, but over the years, things have kind of squeezed in a little bit. 8 spaces, a space throughout the site, and people get it down an aerial. It's a stack of things here, a greenhouse there. It's not great. There's
Right.
a ton of maneuvering room out there, so hopefully this will help.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything?
Will you be closing the curb cut on that house when you demo that?
We're not going to be reusing it. I think we'll be removing it to the road. I think I'm still working with the Aubuchon folks. I think if they could have a group, even just there is, they'd want to do it, although we alerted them that might require.
Okay, if you intend to use it, you'll have to get a permit from DOT
Yeah,
to allow that.
For the change of use.
Right,
correct.
because it's a residential use versus a commercial use. That's Division 3 in Guilford.
Yeah, so.
George.
You want to get through that process, because they didn't necessarily need it, and then they provide a connection. More pervious in the shoreline, which is less storage area they have, so there's a little balance that they'd have to shrink their storage area to still meet the shoreline requirements.
Oh, Jessica just reminded me as well, and it's in your review that you have, that the fire department had requested that if you are going to demo that house, that maybe they could have an opportunity to do some training in it.
Seek and destroy.
Yeah, burn it.
They would really appreciate that. I mean, because they don't get practice houses that often.
Yeah, I'll certainly mention that, knowing the folks at Aubuchon, I can almost say they're definitely amenable.
It'll be a
to it.
pickup truck load of debris versus a lot of other, so.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I want to watch that sometime, them do the training.
Yeah, they were interested in it for non-fire training. So,
Okay,
yeah, so they're not gonna burn it. It's gonna use the house, just, yeah.
yeah, I'll certainly mention that.
Yep.
Unless I can't imagine they wouldn't be amenable to it.
Well, they might be to burning. They might be amenable to burn too. Talk to them.
I'll talk to them, yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah, at least smoke.
it might be a little distracting right there off the circle, but.
Right next to Aubuchon.
So, and lighting, I think you'd mentioned lighting. You're gonna work on improving lighting as well.
Yeah, just so you'll know, on the outside of the pavement between the circle or Route 11 and you, there's probably 2 or 3 wires in there. They're concrete or they're small. They had 2.5-inch rigid galvanized steel as the light post. So there's wiring out there.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
just
know
so
that.
you'll know.
I'll take a look at those, yeah. Look.
Yep.
I think they got plowed over.
Yeah, or backed into,
Yep.
trying to get out of the place. I think it's good that you have addressed a problem that you have there. And I think this is a good idea to clean this up and make it a little bit more user friendly.
For sure, yeah, I know, we have all kinds of traffic simulation software, and there's 0% zero chance I could run that without hitting about a billion things.
Yeah,
Never
it's,
mind it.
especially the way they stuffed it full.
Yeah.
One other question, have you alleviated the problem between the cemetery and the original owner of that house? They were always had, the fence line was,
He doesn't go over to that one. He doesn't go to Christine Sanborn's house. It's the one where Brenda McKay lived, the little one.
oh, okay, yep,
He's,
yep,
they're buying the little one,
oh,
not
okay,
the other one.
because I see a comment from the cemetery committee, in there, so. I know which one, okay.
Any other comments from the board?
Nope.
Mr. Chair, I have a couple comments if the board doesn't have any.
Yes.
So I didn't see any areas for snow storage on the plan.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to, accommodate, spots on there, for snow storage. There was no mention for a need to excavate, so I'm assuming there's no real excavation going on, but just, maybe some clearing and
Well, there's probably a foot and a half of
Leveling things
topsoil
out.
there, at least.
And there would be a bit of earthwork, so the, I'm not quite sure exactly what the slope of this hill is, but it has a pitch to it that we. The hill a little bit, to flatten the gravel area and dig some swales around it, so, we can quantify on that on the file, please, but I think there'd be a little bit of dirt coming out.
Okay.
once they build that.
I don't recall, was there erosion control plan?
So there's a
Concern.
there's a drainage report.
And there should also be an erosion and sediment control plan.
Yep. So I was just waiting for the escrow funds to be submitted.
Yep.
Before the town engineer went forward with the review.
Fair enough. Yeah,
So-
that check should be on the way.
Yep, checks in the mail.
And checks in the-
Yeah, there's a drainage pipe as well that picks up, I guess, from the a swale behind the new greenhouses. Looks like that just simply dumps right out into the wetlands. Is that?
Yeah, that's how that goes.
Yeah, we want to put a swell on the high side there just in case there's any groundwater breaking coming out.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the outlet of that
Oh, sure.
drain pipe. And I imagine the state may have something to say about that.
It's in there right away.
Should definitely obviously be riprap protection out there, so I'll just make sure that's not. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Jessica?
I think you touched upon everything.
All right, anything else on the board? All right, well, I think certainly with Jessica's very thorough review in the comments, I think you got, some direction to head.
For sure, yeah, and we did read through them before the hearing, and all of them seem perfectly fair, and I think we should be able to accommodate all of them. And then we'll wait for the peer review before we make the final submission, just so we have that as well.
Excellent. All right. All right, any questions for us?
Knock on wood, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Drive safely.
Thank you.
All right, so next case, 24-02 Norway Plains or Mark and Cynthia Dame Revocable Trust.
Yeah. Nice job.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so this one is a final minor subdivision application, so we're going to start off with completeness. And I think you had. So we have the utility plan and the soils data and soils type all shown on the topo plan.
Correct.
Driveway site distance analysis is to be determined. And DES subdivision approval is pending.
Correct.
Was there anything else that you felt
No.
maybe?
Looks fine. We see all that other information on the topo plans very often, so
Yes. Yep. Okay. Board have any specific comments on this before we take the next move? Hearing nothing, I'll make a motion to accept this
I'm sorry.
application P 24-02 as complete.
Second.
Okay, nice job.
Motion by Drew, seconded by Nick. Okay, all right,
Good evening.
good evening.
Good evening.
Steve Bowles, No Way
Can you vote?
Plans.
I'm sorry, can you vote on that? Did you guys vote?
No, we didn't.
You first
vote on
and you
it.
seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good.
Technicality.
Again.
Yeah, now you can go.
Steve Bowles from No Way Plans here with Mark Tippett, Dame. They're here to answer any questions you may have. It's a very simple subdivision. They'd like to subdivide the lot and make a roughly they subdivide their 3.38 acre lot into a 2.02 lot, a 2.02 acre lot, and a 1.36 acre lot. Behind me on the plan, you'll see the blue line showing where the proposed lot line will be.
Yep.
And they have the required 75 feet of frontage on the left lot. And to answer Jessica's question, I think it's the fire chief also regards to driveway. The driveway is gonna go on the tree line between the property line and the road trees that are there. It's not shown on the plan. It'll show on the final plan that I get to you to sign off on. It'll show the proposed driveway location.
Okay,
Test pits were dug, wetlands were done by Cindy Belsius. Her stamp will be on the final plan. It's just a matter of any other questions I can answer or they can answer.
so I think there was a question raised by the highway department regarding a right of way to the access for garage at map 27 lot 50.
What, the service garage?
Well, that's what I'm trying to,
That's on lot 51,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, that's
Small
51.
garage?
Yeah.
Small one in the corner?
so that would be lot
No.
50-2.
Oh, that's
Okay,
where- that's where
okay,
his-
what
that's
you-
where his-
I see where it is now.
That little garage.
No, they're talking.
Your main
that's where they
garage is
have
on the
to
house lot that you're currently living in.
have to
I
come
didn't
across,
see the
yeah.
jog there, so you access it through your dad's old lot,
Yeah.
but it's on that lot.
Right.
I'm good now.
I tried to look that up in the Belknap County Registry of Deeds and it wouldn't pull anything up, which was, I thought was strange. That
Which,
deed, so in that note 15, it refers to that right away.
it is actually right here. I brought a copy of the deed for you.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
Page 2.
Okay. Is this for me? Okay.
Is the test pit data on this stuff? Steve?
Test pit data is on page 2, topographic plan. Stamps on it too. All sand.
Yeah, I figured it was, like lots of it.
Some of us board members are getting older. We need bigger print. My
You need to
glasses.
change your requirements.
I'll bring a magnifying glass next.
I would love to do 2436, but the town of Alton wants 2234. So if you guys want to change it, go to 2436, that'd be great.
I have an extra one if you guys want it down there.
Nah, I'm
No.
good. I knew what the soils were anyway. I just wanted to see if you came up with what I thought and you did.
Great. And I did notice on your sheet too, you've got your 4K outline up by test pit number 2 for your septic.
Yeah.
Doesn't leave a whole lot of square footage for a dwelling. Yeah,
Dwelling here, this is just 4K.
You don't have to use all of it.
That proves that it works. That can get moved or adjusted in any figure.
Yeah.
That's to show the state that you can fit it. Especially since you have town water.
Exactly.
yeah, and there were comments about town water in here as well, weren't there?
Yeah, they
Yep.
just
Yeah.
need to run new.
Yeah, so water is apparently on the other side of Route 11.
They'd bore it. You're very easy boring, or you can bring it off what you already have on the side of the street too.
Or you can put a curb stop in front of the existing line and tap it over if you want to do
That's
that.
what
rather
I'm-
than not bother
yeah.
boring. Yeah.
Just run it parallel to the road and then
Yep.
back in.
So in the review, plan does not state whether this is in the shoreland protection overlay district or not.
I really didn't, I'll say no here, but I didn't think there's a reason to actually answer that considering we are in town and the lake is way down there.
Yeah,
It's
it's nice to
obvious,
have
yeah.
But
it.
it also hits the river too, I believe, right?
It's
But you're
Just
far
a
enough
note.
away from the
Yep.
river.
Yeah,
Just
just a
that
note to
for
be
the-
added.
I can add a note.
Same with the aquifer protection overlay.
The whole lot is actually in the aquifer protection overlay.
Okay, that was one of my
Whole lot.
questions. Okay,
And I did have, that note is on the plan.
Like most of
The aquifer
downtown.
protection.
okay.
Most of downtown's on the aquifer overlay.
So lot shape formula. Have you addressed that?
With the length
Three needs to be 3-1.
or a waiver.
I don't think we hit that 3-1, do we? No, definitely do not. So that will require a waiver.
Request a waiver.
Get your blank sheet of paper going right now.
Yep.
Excellent.
Section what?
Section 7F2.
Two.
Sorry, it's 8F2.
8 active.
VIII,
Sorry.
What?
Roman numeral.
Oh,
So with the highway department already having made comment on this, they didn't review for a potential driveway specifically. Oh,
The highway, really, this is not their jurisdiction.
Right.
This will be state DO
Oh, that's
Division
right.
3.
that's right.
Have you applied for a driveway permit? Yet, Steve?
I have not. Have you replied? Not yet.
Okay, that'll be subject to your existing driveway, that as long as it's permitted, they'll probably look at all your cuts that you have, because I imagine those properties once upon a time were one lot, gonna guess. And sometimes they only allow so many driveway cuts per original lot. So the guy's name is George up at the Division 3. He's a good guy. Just talk to him and, meet with him and they'll figure it out.
Utilities, those don't look like that'll be an issue at all.
Lot of power right there.
Yeah. Monumentation. Oh. I know we've gone back and forth on, I think we have it clearly spelled out in our ordinances, but 42-inch long granite or concrete installed.
Now, this is 4-inch granite bound
For monuments identifying the new
monumentation.
property lines.
And that only needs to be on the street side, is it?
Yeah, I think that
Correct.
street,
Yep.
yes.
So there's only two. Well, there's probably the one that's, what is there now, Steve? On the, what that's adjacent to Aroma Joe's.
There, Jason Earl goes in a bounds.
There's a bound, what type of bound?
Have it at the 5x4, the door.
So that's one of the state bounds, most likely that goes up through there.
I would assume so, but the disc is not on anymore.
Okay. So that will probably suffice. So you'll need to put one
We'll have to do
between,
one, right?
right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the other one should just be the end of that line out back. Rest of them are existing. Yeah, on the break. Yep.
Yeah, at the break and then at the far back.
So 3 bounds, that's all you need to do. That's pretty easy.
So I think did we receive that waiver?
We did.
Good.
All right.
Shall we vote on that waiver? You're fast.
These are these are the 2 criteria as to what you guys would be looking at.
Okay,
to Grant a waiver or not.
so it's been requested a waiver on EJ Prescott paper, no less.
Okay.
Request waiver to section 8F.2 from lot ratios for this subdivision application. So this waiver, strict conformity with the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and a waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations. So any questions from the board on that or thoughts on that?
Well, you can't possibly meet the regulation on this, so, and most of it's out back, which won't be used anyway, because it's pretty wet out back there, so. Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the waiver.
Now, we got one other requirement.
Okay.
Specific circumstances relative to the subdivision or conditions of the land in such subdivision indicate that the waiver will properly carry out the spirit and intent of the regulations. That's option B. Kind of like option B.
Yep.
So you want to make your move, Scott?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the waivers as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, so motion by Scott, seconded by Bill. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none? Waiver granted. So we still have the driveway part that's gonna hang out there.
So discussions with DOT.
Yeah. But we could do it subject to.
Yeah.
That way they don't need to come back here.
Yes.
See, we like to see you anyway, you know.
So I will, any further discussion from the board here? Hearing none, I'll open it up for public. Hearing none, I'll close the public. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, on case,
Oh,
Can I
wait,
just
oh,
make a comment before you make that motion? On just the regular subdivision plan, can you make that right away a little bit clearer? Because you have like the map 27 lot 51 information kind of right over where that right of way is. Lot 51,
Is.
Yeah, right
Is
there.
that deeded?
that right of way,
Yeah, there's a
like that
30-foot
information
right-of-way.
is kind of right on that right of way. Can you like shimmy that, kind of scooch it over a little or something? Yeah. Just to make it a little clearer. That's about, and you guys need to do active and substantial development.
Yes.
before you move forward.
That means putting in the pins.
Yes, so the active it's all the same. It's setting the pin, setting the boundary and the pins, I think.
I think 12 months would be enough time for them to pull it together to get those pins in.
Right, well, they have the 24 months, so
Yeah,
So,
well,
just put set monumentation is,
I would say frost out of the ground, if
Mhm.
not.
there's no frost in the ground. I'll just let you know.
well, keeping in mind that we also, you have to go before the state to get a driveway permit in order for any decision here to be valid. So
Right.
I don't know how long that's gonna take. So maybe the full 24 months is,
Yeah, let's give it to them. And that way, if they don't use it, they don't use it.
yep, you get it done in 6, even better. Okay. Now that,
Okay, Mr. Chairman, on case P 24-02, I'll move to approve the two-lot subdivision as presented, subject to obtaining a driveway permit from the state of New Hampshire Division 3. With also to install monumentation on the devising line. And all conditions precedent and subsequent conditions precedent. I think I said that right. And 24 months for active and substantial development.
I'll second that.
okay, motion by Scott, seconded by Bill. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? You're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, so the next case up, case P 24-03, Correlate Incorporated. This is a design review for a major site plan.
Either one.
We've seen this case before. So if you gentlemen would introduce yourselves, you have to speak. These microphones are terrible. You got to speak right into them if you would.
Okay, my name's Dave Huzzy. I'm the owner of this property, 356 Suncook Valley Road, Camp David.
And I'm Chris Neto with Nobis Group. We're the civil engineers. So you want me to present the project?
Yeah, if you would kind of give us an overview, and that would be great.
Yeah, so again,
One quick question. How does this differ from what we previously have approved? No,
it's smaller, actually. Yeah, it's
Smaller.
about 2/3 the size it was before. So, so back in 2018-19, we got a 3 megawatt solar array approved. Because of the capacity of the substation, it's now gone down to 2 megawatts. So, of the 138 acres of Dave's property, we're using about 22. And you can see from the plan, Dunkirk Valley Road out here, Dave's house and barn in yellow. And so the 2 arrays will sit up behind the barn and the house in the field up back there. It is 2 separate projects. That's just the way that the co-op wants it done instead of one big project. And all that means is there's a fence between the 2 projects and separate inverters. They have separate interconnections to the co-op system. And the interconnection actually will be out here in the pole on Cook Valley Road, go underground up across Dave's property to a pole farm that'll sit up behind the barn. And those poles have to be, they're required by the electric co-op, they're required by code, it's so they can come in and disconnect if something goes wrong with the system. They need to be able to see it, they need to be able to control it and shut the power off, so. And then everything will go back underground to each of the arrays and inverters for each of the arrays. We have an access road up Dave's driveway, and it'll go beside the barn and then split to the two areas, to the two arrays. The arrays are surrounded by an 8-foot fence. It's just a not wire agricultural fence. Leave it up above the ground a few, 3, 4, 6 inches for the small critters to get in and under the fence, not the big ones. It's about 5,000 panels total, so about 2,500 per array.
How many watt panels are they up to these
I
days?
think these are
335.
probably four
That high.
plus, yeah. We're getting them up at 5 and 550 now, so I mean, the technology has really come quite a ways even in the last few years.
Good.
To answer your question, what do you think about that?
Yeah, you got to talk into the microphone, Dave.
Another reason to answer Scott's question, we lost our funding during COVID because of the 2 years and everything like that. So that's why we're back here for a third time. And getting
Third time's a charm.
Actually, Will, who's watching us on TV from Vermont, he didn't want to drive down. He said the panels are 550s,
Wow.
so
Wow.
they're up there.
I do 85.
Yeah, so we also have to go to the state, get an alteration of terrain permit for this. They have very specific requirements for solar arrays. We have to catch all the water in ponds and slowly let it out, infiltrate it. So we'll be applying for the AOT permit within the next few weeks. We had a DOT permit, but it is expired because we didn't do anything within the 2-year time frame. So we got to go back to DOT, get a driveway permit from them as well. That's really it. I mean, as you guys know, this is a passive, quiet project, no traffic, no noise, no impact on municipal services, no impact to the environment. Actually, it's a positive impact to the environment. We did get our special exception from the zoning board back in November, so we're here for design review. Looking for comments, and then we'll be back for a final application.
All right. All right. I know you received a copy of the planner review, I
We
assume.
did, yep.
And you hit on a couple of those items. I know that I'm just going to run through them real quickly here. The scheduled, the plan for work for executing this and getting this up and running is basically just to be starting in the fall of this year, 2024, and having it up and ready spring of 25. That's the general gist. That's what the
Yeah,
executive summary.
yep. And it a little bit depends on the interconnection agreement with the co-op, but that's the plan.
Okay. You answered my question on those poles, because I looked at those drawings. I'm like, I don't understand. Everything says underground electric, and yet we have poles. Well,
It's probably
Thank
the step up transformers have to sit and all that stuff, right?
Yep, and the disconnect poles so they can manually disconnect.
Yeah,
and
it's wonder they don't
The
have
meter.
a automatic, like a disconnect on the thing, because
Like
that
a
thing's gonna
fuse.
that's gonna keep giving you power. If the power goes down, that thing's gonna keep giving you power.
Yeah, yeah,
It's wondering if it loses line, I would think that they just want to cut it out.
yes, yeah, so it doesn't endanger the
Because people don't
line.
understand. I have it at the laundromat and power's out and they say, well, you have solar, why aren't they working? You know?
So there was comments about the fire department, and their request for Knox box and access on the gate.
Yes.
the and indicating on the drawings where those Knox boxes and Knox lock will be.
Yep.
Well, lock will be on the gate, I
There
suspect.
probably need to be a serious training between the fire department and your operation there, because they just can't go bowling in there, because that thing's gonna be spitting out some juice. It's like the substation down behind where they were. I mean, you don't go in there unless you know what you're doing. Right,
To give the fire department training. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Snow storage and removal.
The only thing, I mean, once this is constructed, you'll have somebody coming by maybe once or twice a year to mow and just to check on things. Everything's monitored remotely. If something goes wrong, they're gonna know about it remotely, and then they can send somebody over. The
But
winter,
with the-
it's just plowing the driveway.
Right, but plowing to where is the question.
Plowing up to the gate, and inside the gate, we have a little turnaround where the inverters sit, the
Okay,
equipment pads.
so you're not, you don't need access all the way up to all the panels.
Nope.
It's
If,
self-clearing.
if
Yeah.
it comes to that, somebody can throw snowshoes on or whatever.
They're gonna be a
Trek it
10
up
pitch.
there.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. They are fixed tilt, but I'm not sure what the
In
angle is.
this area, they should be a 10 pitch.
Yep.
That's what,
Um,
what I'm getting at, a 10 pitch, looks there relatively.
Right,
quick.
yeah, right.
That's what you're gonna have, what, probably 3 panels in a per
Yep.
array, probably?
Yep.
there's a note here as well that some of these wetland pockets are shown with the fence. I don't know if I actually saw the fence going through the wetlands.
If it does, it's a mistake. We'll move the fence out of the wetland. block.
Okay.
We don't plan on going anywhere near the wetlands.
Well, except you do have some selective clearing only stumps to remain. Those areas are identified, and obviously conservation will want to chime in on that, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah, and the whole training, getting people educated, fire department, police department too. So I'm gonna jump into my notes. Sorry, having trouble reading the notes. So my questions, I was a little confused on the stormwater management. There were details in the drawings, on C4, you show a typical drainage trench, which has a pipe in stone. And I couldn't figure out where
C4.
that applied on this particular.
Usually we put those in the sediment pond so that we can, during construction, they want you to seal all the outlets to them so the water can sit in there and the sediment can drop out. So what we usually do is put a pipe in stone just to slowly draw the pond down. So that actually sits inside the pond and then discharges out to daylight. And
Okay,
Your AOT, when you do that will deal with all that stuff too.
yes, yep, absolutely. So I think in your regulations, you call for sort of a conceptual approach to stormwater, which is what we were trying to show. The final application will have a fully detailed stormwater management.
okay, good. There was a comment on one of the drawings about this rangeway up at the back of your property, David. And it looks like the property line or something is in dispute, I guess, up there.
No, it's not in dispute. It's an old range.
Right.
Road. And my neighbor is Marty Knielsen.
Yeah.
And myself. When the rangeway was given up by the town, that reverts back to him and I. I was in dispute with Bystrap, but that was the previous owner.
So is that no longer a recognized right of way?
Snowmobile trail, use it,
Up
don't
there?
they?
It's a right of way between our two properties, and myself and Marty recognizes that either one of us have the right to use it. And also there's a landlocked piece of property in there. Used to be, he just gave it to the conservation people. But anyhow, he's able to use that too. So it's like 3 pieces of property that can use it.
Was that Willette,
What's that?
Willette you're thinking of with the landlocked property?
Marty has all his land now.
Yeah, Marty, and then I can't remember the guy. He passed away about 1.5, 2 years ago out there, and he left it to the Forest Service.
Okay. Plus that rangeway goes all the way to 140. If you.
Yep.
Right on.
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah,
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 all the way.
right by where we disapproved the subdivision. Going up the hill on 140, right there you go and you'll go right in his
Yeah.
Oh,
backyard.
no kidding.
Yeah, but if you look it up in
not
the
that far
records, the town gave it back.
Okay.
They got rid of it. I mean, it's documentation's right in the town records.
All right, so, and I'm just gonna check, there's no then setback requirements from this right of way.
No.
Is there?
Other than standard lot lines
My,
setbacks,
my lot line goes right to that thing, so the setback would be from my lot line.
and this one is whenever they changed it 20-foot, this should enjoy the 10-foot setbacks.
Yes.
Well, he's got the width of the range road from boundary line to boundary
But
line.
all the sidelines are 10
Yeah,
feet and there's not 20.
Actually, it says it reverts back to land, and so Marty comes to the middle of the range road and I come to the middle of the road. Range road.
Okay, all right. Talked about poles, we talked about wetland, tree line cutting. The grades on the drawings, the only grades that I saw on the drawings are on that roadway, or at least a good portion of the new roadway and the detention ponds. No other relative grades, but I assume when you get deeper into this and wrap up in your full submission, there'll be some more
Yes.
grades provided.
Yeah, we'll provide a full grading plan for the entire site.
How to get some sheep in your barn, you don't need to mow it then. Yeah,
So, the fence, you described, what you described made a lot of sense to me. What's shown in the drawings, I think maybe just been kind of a borrowed detail maybe. But you have a, wood posted fence, 20 to 30 foot spacing on posts with a single continuous horizontal wood and then a 6x6 fabric. It looked like a welded fabric, and then cutouts for the little critters, not held up off the grade.
That's right. Yep, you're right.
I didn't know if that, if that was the game plan, is going with that fence, because that certainly is, at least it strikes me as a more appropriate fence than, post-driven galvanized chain link
Right.
with razor wire on top.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, it's more of an agricultural fence, a little more attractive.
All right. And what is the volt? Do we know what the voltage is coming from the transformer to the poles?
We'll find out in a minute, as soon as Will texts me, what that is.
well,
I'm not in
they've
the-
got to put it on the grid at the same voltage that's already out there, so they'll have,
13, whatever.
Yeah, 13.6 or something.
13.8 or whatever.
yeah, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll have
13
to,
what?
13,800 volts
13,800. What's on,
with very
Okay,
low current.
all right.
but these are DC, right?
They get, he
And
inverts
invert.
them.
They invert 'em.
Yep,
Yeah, they get inverted, I assume at the transformer or somewhere right near there, right?
we have an inverter pad right within in the gate.
There's also
Just inside the
capabilities of inverting at each panel as well, but they're probably not gonna use that. Mine
Yeah,
have
that's
that.
probably not the more efficient way to handle a array this size, but, yeah, so my concern was the, relative to the details of the underground electric and what the depths should be of it and what the, but I know the utility company will dictate an awful lot of that, especially from pole to the pole farm, from the pole farm to each transformer. And then the DC, which can be very deadly.
Oh, it's got a lot of.
Instant, yeah.
Yeah, it does. I'm not sure what protections go in place with that, but I know that this stuff is all very well controlled, well above any intelligence level I have to offer from the planning board seat, but it is a concern to make sure that we are keeping it safe and, and I don't want, any kids wandering around deciding that they want to go, party behind the solar array.
That's the fence.
Yeah. Let's see what this does.
So Will says it's 12.47 kV.
Okay.
And these guys will be here the next time when we make our presentation, so that they'll get into the electrical safety and.
Yeah, so
design.
that just clarifies for me that does fall under the medium voltage, category, so.
How do you know if you have a string go down if you don't do them at the,
It's all monitored remotely, so it's all, it's all comes through a computer program back to where they monitor it, and they can tell if they have a string go down.
yeah, because usually when you have the module on every unit, if it has its own IP address, it
Yep.
will show up. And I
Yeah.
can show you on my phone, a
Yep.
couple of arrays.
Yeah, I don't know the technology, the exact technology, but
I used Enphase.
my guys will be here next time to explain that.
Any other questions from the board?
Great project.
Jessica?
Well, not the board, but I do have a question. Have you guys prepared a decommissioning plan?
We did under the previously approved project back in 19, but we need to submit a new decommissioning plan. We'll do that as part of the final application.
Okay,
And that'll discuss the whole bonding requirement and.
What type of contracts are the
Yep.
co-op giving you? I don't care to know how much money, but length of time, because the panels they'll degrade after 25 years.
Yeah, it's
So
25 years with an option for an additional 5, I think. Even though they degrade, they still put out
they still
power,
put out,
so,
they just start to
yeah,
get dimmer as you go.
you could always switch the panels out, but
Well,
the technology will
well,
be,
On mine over here, I have 285. If you have 500s,
Yeah.
I could, if I change it, I'm gonna go up a lot more wattage, you know? It's 10 years old.
Mr.
you have
Chair,
anything
I
else?
just had one more thing.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify for the record regarding whether or not the Conservation Commission should have received an abutters notice or not. So I just wanted to clarify that the only time that the Conservation Commission would have been a legal abutter when it applies to the excavation pit, which is on the other side of the Manx's property to where that conservation easement is. So I just wanted to clear that. They weren't official abutters for this type of application. It only applies to the excavation operation when they are in the status of becoming an approving or a disapproving abutter to excavate within 10 feet of the property line. So I just wanted to
And that's what I had to
Clear the air.
explain to the zoning board, that they're not owners, they're stewards, two different things.
yeah.
Right,
so-
Yeah.
However, with the wetlands on this property, they can offer opinions and insights.
Oh,
on
for
the
sure.
review.
For sure. I just was referring to the noticing. It was the noticing part.
Okay. Okay. Anything else from board?
Nope,
You guys got anything more for us?
still is a great project. I like solar, so it's cool.
thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Drive safely on your way home.
I'm white knuckle all the way here.
All day for 3 inches, you know?
How far did you have to come?
Oh,
Well, that's not bad.
That's not-
well,
Oh, you went 129? Well, you deserve it. You go
Yeah,
48 on the way home.
28 was, took the scenic route. Oh, yeah.
I can see why it was a hair raised
Oh,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like 20.
All right.
109.
Well, you-
Yeah,
pick the
whatever
night
it is,
to-
129 too, but yeah.
We're just beginning. Clear.
Take care, Dave.
All right, next we have, other business, old business, review and approve revised justification and rationale verbiage for the 23-24 proposed zoning amendments. Now, hopefully you guys have had a chance to go through these.
Mr. Chairman, if I could say something, we have someone wait here for case on new business number 2. And maybe if we could move that up and that way he can go home and we can continue. I don't know if that would be in your purview.
Sure, which case?
Dave Fuller for case P 7-07 and P 10-34.
So
Dobbins
he's
Way.
here for B.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So if it's good with the rest of the board, absolutely.
Yep.
So,
Just can't stand to look at a pretty face all that time.
okay, so, going a little out of order, case P 07-07 and P 10-34. Request for final road approval from Dave Fuller regarding Dobbins Brook subdivision, Dobbins Way. So we do have the memorandum from KV Partners dated December 5th, which he visited the site on November 7th. Talked about one section of steep slope that may need to be reinforced with some Class C stone.
Mr. Chair, and as that's noted, I was on that site walk and that, they thought it was best to kind of reassess in the spring. And see if that's needed, at
All
that
these
time.
fish lights have had plenty of exercise.
So there was, he has a recommendation for he prepared a maintenance bond recommendation. Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yep.
Next package, sorry.
Yep,
Next
and
group.
he's already submitted the bond for that,
Okay.
so that's already in place.
And you built out in there now, right?
There's one lot, a 13-acre lot left, but it's sold and the gentleman is supposed to start construction this spring.
Back to farmhouse.
All right. Well, I guess that was the only question that I had, and I don't know if you guys have anything else.
Do you show the right of way up through there for the Budden properties?
Yeah, I think this is a looking.
What was the question, Lee?
There's a long driveway that goes up back to
The old farmhouse up in
Yeah.
the back.
where that terrible incident was. Back up in there.
Oh, okay.
That's the access to it there.
And it's all monumented.
Okay, that's on this one. Yeah.
Yep, should be.
Yep.
Thank you. No problem. So 48,300.
So if the board have any thoughts or comments or,
Well, KV Partners kind of said it looks good, so I mean, and check that, so.
Yeah,
He
he's,
made construction inspections throughout the whole process of all the
Yeah.
road building too, so.
yeah, he's been on board since his first report was October 16th of 2017. So he's been on the project
bend
ever
over to
since.
him,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Oh, I had it nerves.
Okay, so entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I will move on case P707 and P10-34 is to release the bond and accept the maintenance bond as described by KV Partners, and I hope that's appropriate.
For the final road approval.
That's exactly what I was thinking to say.
Yeah, I knew. I just wanted to get it ahead of you. All right, I'll second that motion. So that was Scott, seconded by Drew. Any further discussion with the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Good to go.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, Dave.
Thanks, Scott, for speaking up and
Thanks,
moving
Dave.
up on the agenda. That's
Yeah.
okay. So jumping back, old business, review and approve revised justification rationale verbiage for the 2023-24 proposed zoning amendments.
So after the public hearing in December, I had a discussion with Tara and she's like, why do you guys do this? Why do you set things up the way you do? You make things a lot more complicated than
Okay, what do we
then
do
they
next?
then they have to be. So she's like, do you want me to offer up some language? And I said, yes, please. So she did. So she took the description at the very beginning of that amendment and the rationale and put it into one.
Merged it.
And I think it's fabulous.
She's
I've
wordsmith another.
Yep, I've tweaked it a little bit, sent it off to the town council to take a look at it. He tweaked it a little bit, and then this is the end result.
So I'll make a motion that we accept the proposed zoning amendment language changes as presented tonight.
Second that.
Seconded by Nick. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Any discussion?
They know words better than I do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Excellent.
All right, so just so that you know, tomorrow I'll start preparing this language to put it in the certified format and send it off to administration to create the warrant articles. So that'll get going.
Next in my package.
So, Mr. Chair, that next item was, it's a spreadsheet of the breakdown of the planning and zoning invoices. I mean, zoning consultant invoices.
Okay. Showing
So-
that we have $1,760.
Remaining in that warrant article. So that warrant article, I believe, is good for 4 or 5 years, I think it was. So we still have $1,760 left over for any zoning consultant
We can't have a party?
services.
Already.
Yeah. I will
what-
double check the actual language of the warrant article to ensure that we could use her again for something else.
Yeah, and if for nothing else, we may want to, after the voting, we may want to just check back with her and talk about how we did. Where our successes were, where our failures were.
Yep.
So,
So we still may have some funds. We may be able to use those funds for
Can you
something additional.
hold those for another year?
Yeah, they still might, it's either 4 or
You have
5
two-
years
you
that
have
it was
two-
good for.
Isn't it 2 years that you can hold some funds?
It's good for 4 or 5. I forget what's in the
Really?
warrant article. I'll have to look at it again.
Yeah, I thought they were just two,
Ah.
but anyway,
I think so.
let's make sure of that so we don't have an oops.
Yep.
Right, and then the next item was the extension for case P 2303.
Actually, it's the discussion. The discussion
See, you forgot that.
Oh, sorry.
regarding former town engineer.
Actually,
Yeah. So,
So there, you don't have any paperwork on that?
oh, I don't have any paperwork.
No,
Good.
it's just, I'm just gonna talk.
Okay,
Sit back and listen.
take the floor.
Okay, so at the December meeting, Dana Huff, who just retired from Ty and Bond, our former town engineer, was very gracious and offered up his time and his services for free for a couple of projects. And I just wanted to ensure how that was going to be able to take place if he was not tied to Ty and Bond anymore without having insurance and all that stuff. So town council thanked him for his offer and
Usually
sort
declined.
of, yeah, he had to.
Yeah.
It, so the 2 projects that Dana was working on are just gonna move over to Dennis or Coulter.
Still
who are
tight.
still staying with the same firm. They're just being picked up by the people that are replacing Dana. I just
Okay.
wanted you guys to be aware of that.
And if Dana is a phone call away for either of those guys.
He sure is.
Yeah,
Yep,
good.
yep,
Not for us. Those guys.
yeah. Maybe for me.
All right, well, I mean, it's too bad, but it is the right,
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
just liability wise.
yeah. All right, so now we're on to D, letter received on January 9th from Paul regarding LaCroix's extension,
Yes.
and that's really just for DES, looks like.
Right. I guess the person that he was trying to contact over there, retired or left their position, so they weren't getting back in touch with him. So
Hate it
it's
when that happens.
asking for an extension.
Okay.
Extension to
So,
complete his conditions, so let's be specific.
so he had a year.
To complete, yep, to complete this conditions precedent. So that's what he's looking for the extension for.
Do you have an idea of how long you wanted the extension for?
The board could issue an extension for 6 months.
What's missing with this?
Submission
The-
of DES.
DES
Subdivision approval
subdivision
from
approval.
DES.
No, apparently he must have been calling and leaving voicemail in a no longer monitored voicemail box.
Yeah.
So do we have
I
to,
understand that DES and AOT, they're down to like 2 people that work there.
Hmm.
It's awful.
Yeah. So,
I mean, can we give them 6 months? Is that all right to do?
Sure. Could
Yeah.
give them
Well,
longer if you
that's-
feel, or if you feel 6 months is adequate.
Oh, how long for something like that, Scott?
What?
If there's only like 2 people down there,
AOT
6 months
Well,
enough?
I'm not a good example.
So
Well, no, I meant with you had just talked about DES, so is it 6 months
Let's put
enough?
it this way. One guy just told me it took 2.5 months to get an AOT permit.
Okay,
not
so 6
18
months would be
or
all right.
so. My lawyer is now involved.
Can I make a motion for that?
you certainly can.
go
I'll make
for
a
it.
motion that we extend the application for the conditions for Daniel LaCroix. Is that how you say it?
Yep,
Daniel LaCroix, case number P 23-03.
I'll second that.
that was for 6
Motion by
months.
Nick,
Yeah.
seconded by Scott. Any further discussion?
Okay.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, we have an abstention?
Huh?
Did I hear
No.
abstention?
No,
No,
No.
I said aye.
Oh.
that's why I had the deer in the headlights, like, what you think?
Like, what'd I do?
All right, unanimous. Okay, so we did case P 24-04 under new business already.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be continued. We
I'm
actually did that
sorry,
one yet.
the 2404 is the building permit permission request.
Yeah, we're gonna have to continue that because I needed to get, I was still missing some department head reviews on that.
I heard you say that before. Why are we holding up something since department heads are not doing their job timely?
Good, so this application is for, right, it's a good question. It's a
Thank you.
valid question. This one is, so this is tied to a short-term rental permit. So, yeah, so right now,
They've all
we're
been
still
stayed
trying to
till April, right?
work everything right, so it's, I don't want to say like it's okay that we continue it, but it's not pertinent right now to have this done tonight. It could wait till next month, and I'm hoping to have more for you for next month, so we can do a bunch at a time.
Okay,
Yeah,
because our department heads need to react timely.
yep,
All right, so that's continued. We heard the next item B under new business already. And C has to do with the approval of the meeting minutes.
They looked okay to me.
So line 14, Christine O'Brien is an alternate member.
Oh.
and she's spelled with a C,
Yep.
correct?
And there was one word that was
And I don't think Robin was here.
grammatically wrong and I don't remember what it was, but it's not important.
Robin wasn't here at the last meeting. I recall.
No, I don't think she was.
I know she was here maybe the month
The
before
month
because I wasn't
before.
here.
Yeah, she covered when you were out that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I should note, she did very well.
Yeah, she did.
I'll make sure that she knows that.
Well, she was nervous, so.
She was, yeah, she was. She was. Nothing to be nervous about, just us.
He was definitely. All right.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes with the amendment to line 14 and striking line 20.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Nick, seconded by Scott. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Good. All right. Do we have any other business to come before the board?
Mr. Chairman, I will be absent next month for my annual pilgrimages to the sun and sand.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We have correspondence, Green Oak.
Yeah, it's just for your information.
Okay,
So it's just an update. You can read that at your leisure.
at our leisure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott, you are gone
Scott's
for next
gone.
month?
I'll
Just,
be gone next month,
will you be back for the March meeting or
Yes, I-
February?
the day before.
March. Is
I'll,
that,
I'll be back the 18th of March.
okay. I'm sorry, it was too many questions and I didn't let you answer.
And I have filled out my thing to be on the ballot.
So you can be on the ballot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that in the office next to another member's.
That's great. Good for you, Scott. Enjoy your vacation.
So if I'm not on the ballot, Jessica.
I passed that off.
All right. Any public input?
Were we all going down to stay with Scott
Sure.
on vacation?
I guess we did. You're Aruba, right?
Huh?
Where you go?
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas.
Yeah.
Lovely.
The
What's
US
the address
Virgin-
down there in case I decide to buy a flight?
It will be 82 degrees every day pretty much.
Tough to take.
We'll send you pictures.
All right, I'm gonna close the public session since there's nobody public here. And I'll take one last motion. Motion to adjourn by Bill, seconded
second.
by,
I second.
Lee. I was
Uh,
slacking tonight.
all right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody. That's, I think, gonna be where the new liquor store wants to go.
7:30.
That